Alright, hi guys. I'm pretty excited about the upcoming Hackfest, and I thought I'd make this video to give us a quick introduction to at least the basic tools that we can use. The Hackfest project we'll be working on is called take the Chorus Send Receive box and swap it out wholesale for a GeckoFX control or a little more good sounding GeckoFX Chorus UI. Alright, you guys should all be familiar with the Trello board for the Barcamp agenda. Our card is right down here, and if you click on that, you can look at the conversation that's been going on over the last week about all the different aspects that we've talked about. There's a lot of good stuff on there. I really would recommend that you read it. And I've also created a link here to a new Trello board that's named after our project, GeckoFX Chorus UI, and this is a place where we can add cards that correspond to sub-projects or issues that we might need to deal with and represent somewhat of a workflow. This is a bit how we work at Palazzo. Obviously we can do it some other way if you guys think that's better, but I thought I'd get the ball rolling by setting up a system that worked for us. You're welcome to outvote me. I'm very sad to not be on the first shift, so it'll be kind of up to you guys to really get things going, as it'll be the middle of the night here by the time you've seen this video, I suspect. Alright, so you'll see I put just a couple of cards on here. I've created, actually that's not true, I've actually created a completely new repository and try to make it as easy as possible to use. Over here under instructions, I've got the Getting Started card. Under there is a comment where you can get Tortoise HG and the URL of the Mercurial repository that has our Chorus project in it. The reason we're going with Mercurial is because Chorus already comes with as part of a Mercurial project, and again, it's what I know, and I thought I would get things set up. If you guys want to go to Git and you want to put this up on GitHub something while I'm asleep, obviously that's your prerogative. I'd be happy to join in and learn a new tool, so no worries there. Alright, so again, I'd recommend downloading Tortoise HG. It's I think by far the easiest way to get to know Mercurial. The URL, as you can see, is right here. Let's go ahead and pay it a visit. So what it looks like, it's all the usual download Tortoise HG. Make sure to get the version for your whether 32 or 64-bit for your Windows. I'll spare myself the details of downloading and installing. I assume you guys can all do that. Once you've installed it, you'll see a little icon down in your system tray. It's the Tortoise HG overlay icon server. And what it does is it puts little icons on all the repositories on your machine. I think there should be more than that on. Oh no, they're down under subfolders. So here you can see this Chorus repo has some changes in it that need updating and so forth. So it'll kind of show you what the status of your repositories in Windows Explorer. All right, what I want to demonstrate is how to clone the repository. I've made a new repository so that we're not in any danger of wrecking the real Chorus repository. I made that Chorus repository on the projectspalazzo.org website where we host all of our Palazzo projects. I checked, and all of you guys that had your face on the card have accounts on palazzo.org, except for Wes Peacock and Chris Hubbard. So it'd be great if you guys could create yourselves an account over here. Over here, if I weren't logged in, it would offer to make an account. Once you've made your account and verified your password, if you could get in touch with myself, though again, probably not the best option as I'll be sleeping, so maybe better would be with John Thompson or John Wickbird, who I've also made managers of this project, mostly just because they're at the 3 centers, so that should be fine. I guess I could make everybody managers, but whatever. I've made you guys developers, so Wes and Chris, if you could get in touch with one of us, then you can we can add you to the project and you'll have commit rights on the repository. Alright, other than that, we really shouldn't have anything to do up here on projectspalazzo.org. It really is just a place to keep our repo. I figure we'll kind of manage it via that Trello board. Okay, alright, so let's get down to business and clone that repository. So let's bring up Windows Explorer. I tend to keep all of my software development projects under a subfolder called Software Development, and it's reasonably easy to clone an existing repository. Right-click on the folder, go to Tortoise HG, and say Clone. When you do that, it'll ask you where to clone from, the source. I've already cloned from there. It's hgpalazzo.org/chac for Chorus Hackfest. So you put that there, say the destination is the software development folder, and it'll create a subfolder with the name Chack. Okay, I'm going to spare myself and you watching the little green bar as it downloads. I've already downloaded it, so I'll just close this here. When that clone process is done, you should have a Chack directory with a little green check mark next to it. And if you go in there, you can see all of the chorus files, including the .hg repository itself. Alright, so I assume you guys are all running Visual Studio 2010. That's what I'd recommend. You can go ahead and double click that and it'll bring up Visual Studio, of course. Alright, and here, the first scary big red X, well, white X on red background anyway. It's nothing to worry about. It has something to do with the Wix installer, which we won't be messing with, so you can safely click OK and move on. Alright, it takes a little while to actually come up. Alright, so here we can see the chorus project. The dialog that we'll be working on is actually called the sync dialog. It's under the chorus project, UI, sync dialog. Alright, this is the UI that we'll be endeavoring to replace with the GeckoFX control. Now Damien will be doing a project in parallel to ours that's very similar, using a framework that he's written to make the binding between C# and the HTML and JavaScript inside the Gecko control easier. I'm really pretty keen to have him working on the same dialogue as we're working on, so that as we get a feel for working with C# and JavaScript and HTML5 and really figure out what the issues are, we'll be able to see the benefits of the framework that he's written. I think it's pretty cool. So also, if one of you guys feels like you're up on your HTML5 and your CSS, or you just like Damien, he'd love some help doing his part too. So you could join him in that. Otherwise, again, this is what we'll replace with the GeckoFX control. Now, if we happen to finish that, we'll move on to, I think, the settings control, which I made a screenshot of in the original Hackfest thread. So this is the one we'll do right here. This is the one we can do afterwards if we actually make enough progress. It actually has a tab, what do you call it, tab control and a combo box, so it's a little more challenging to work on. Alright, so back to the chorus project. So that's the dialog we're working on, the sync dialog. And now conveniently, the chorus library comes with a sample app so that we can actually see whether this is working. I've already set it as my startup project. You can do that right here, set as startup project. That means when you hit F5, it'll all compile and then actually run that sample project. Alright, when we hit send and receive, it brings up the dialog box that we're interested in. So as we start replacing that with the GeckoFX control, this is a great place to get a visual confirmation that things are actually working as it should. Now, what you can't see is that I'm plugging in my USB stick, and you should notice that the USB button in the top there will become active. There you go. Alright, so it's active, and if I pull my USB stick out, then it goes unactive again, so so we need to duplicate that kind of functionality. Likewise, if we click on the settings button here and we were to fill out this information, the internet button should become active. Notice that this is that tab control that we might move on to if we finish the other dialog. Alright, so that's kind of the basic idea of what we'll be working on. So now I'd like to show you on how to commit to the repository once you've made a couple of changes, in case you're unfamiliar with Tortoise HG. So to do that, we're just going to grab a random file here. We'll grab, preferably not, there you go, the sync control model, and all we'll do is we will add an extra line in there. Save that. Alright, now we'll go to Tortoise HG. To do that, go to your Windows Explorer. Here's the Chack project. Right-click on it, go to HG Workbench, and it brings up all the information that you need about that project. Over here are all the different repositories you work with. Chack is down here on the bottom. Here is the number of revisions that we've got in this repo. This is brand new, so we're on revision 0. If I click here, it shows me the changes that I've made since revision 0. One change to exactly one file, the sync control model, and you'll see here that I've added exactly one line. So that's exactly as I expected, so I could click here, and I'll say commit to, added random empty line. say commit, and now you'll see that there are two commits up here. There's the one with the initial check-in, all of the chorus files. On this one, if I click on there, you can see it shows you the diff for each file. In this case, just the one, and it says I've added one line. So that's great. You go up here and click refresh. You'll see there's no files changed. So I'm up to date. Now, if I want to push these changes to up to the web so others can get them, that's this button here. Push outgoing changes to selected URL. Yes. And it'll ask you for your username and password for palasso.org. So you need to remember that. I think you can reset your password from the website, so if you've forgotten yours, you can do that here too. So I'm not going to push this because this was obviously a pretty lame change to make, but you get the idea. Merging is a little bit more complicated. I don't have a demonstration for that, but basically when you pull from online, this is where you pull the button up here. See, it says pull completed. Down here it says that no changes were found, so we don't see another branch. But if somebody else had pushed something, I'd see another branch here. Then I could right click on that branch and say merge with, and the two, and then resolve any conflicts that are in it. So if we get that far, I can make another video showing that, but I think this will get us started. Okay, one of the first things I think that's going to need to happen when you guys start is we need to reference the GeckoFX control in this chorus project. I thought it would be in here because I thought chorus notes relied on it, but I don't see it as a reference here. So I think it needs to be added, and then we need to swap out that control completely for a GeckoFX control, and then yeah, I think you can have fun hacking away HTML, JavaScript, C#, whatever floats your boat. I do highly recommend the examples that Tom Hindle posted, again in the original thread on the Hackfest board. Let me see if I can find him here. Damien Daspit, John Hatton, John Thompson. I don't see it right now. Tom Hindle, here we go. He's got progress so far on GeckoFX examples. If you go there, it's got some good examples on how to manipulate the GeckoFX control. They're pretty easy to understand, but even so, if you check out the schedule, you'll see that. Where's the schedule? I closed it already. Go me. So somewhere around here is the schedule. There it is, other browser. Schedule, you'll notice that that in session 2B, there's going to be a presentation on the GeckoFX control done by Tom. So if you're feeling intimidated by reading the examples or whatever, he's going to give us a nice intro to it down there. And otherwise, I just recommend that you read his code, or also I think Damien put a link to some of the work that he's done for his framework if you're curious to see what he's got too. Alright, so that covers it for me. I hope you guys can get a good start, and I look forward to the first handover, which will be at 8 p.m. most of your guys' time, just to hear and see what's gone on. Have fun, try to communicate well, all that, you know, fill out the Trello board. I'll be happy to answer questions, preferably not at 2 in the morning. Alright, looking forward to it. See you later.